This channel may feature copyrighted video and audio content under the guidelines of fair use permitted by copyright statute for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. All content and credit go to the original creators. No copyright infringement is intended. Welcome in, everybody. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Welcome in to everybody in the building. Let me know if anything is off, if anything sounds weird. Welcome in, BFF. Can you hear me? I'm probably loud as heck. Okay, welcome in, Kawana Peachy. Shout out to you, fam. How y'all doing out there? We doing something new today. And we got a lot to talk about. First of all, this government shutdown, the so-called end to the beginning of a bunch of stuff. We just gonna follow the details. And also I want to talk about something concerning the food stamps back in the day. I forgot what it was called. Like I just went live and just drew a blank. But one of the things I want to talk about that's in the headlines is that Trump was booed at a Commanders NFL game, and I wanted to play that. Also, I want to go over what happened as far as the government shutdown being ending. But that was after 8 Democrats, they just folded. Basically, is what's being said. No agreements, no nothing, and yeah, we're gonna just follow a little news, but let's look at the game where Trump was booed at. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Y'all, please smack that thumbs up as you come into the building. I don't ask for much, y'all, but that thumbs up, it is priceless, and it is priceless. It don't cost you a thing, so please smack that thumbs up. It is very important, and it helps my channel. Okay, so let's look at this. Undeniable.
Please raise your right hand. I, and state your name.
Good Lord.
You solemnly swear.
Hilarious. Now, that is not the first time that I have seen him booed. Hold on, let me hit pause on this.
In the world.
I've actually seen them booed a bunch of times, but a lot of times these news stations, they'll turn down the volume of it. And I heard that he requested it before too. But some of the headlines that's in the news concerning him being booed: Commander fans face backlash. This is what Fox News said for booing President Trump during the U.S. military ceremony. That was 4 hours ago. Then it says, we got The Guardian. Trump booed at Commanders NFL game before calling plays from Fox broadcast booth. Then we have Trump drowned in boos at Commanders NFL game while struggling to read, and that's Yahoo Sports. Trump becomes the first president to attend regular season NFL games since 1978. And we know that he's all about breaking records. Like this whole government shutdown, this is the record of the government shutdown from the last time that he was president. So he was the only president that, the government was shut down for a period of time. And, some people say it's the Democrats' fault. Others say it's the Republicans, but we know who has the office. So it also says Commanders fans loudly booed Trump during halftime swearing-in ceremony. Okay, so that happened. Let me see what y'all saying. Oh, welcome in, Sherry. Wait a minute. So hold on. This is so crazy. Wait a minute. Okay. Something is always changing back here, y'all. Shout out to BFF. Shout out to Kawana, Peachy. We can hear you. And shout out to Sherry in the building. Thank y'all all for dropping down in the chat. That's so important. So look, y'all. Another thing, something else that happened, and I'm not sure. This was like the other day. Somebody, man down is all I know, and they was talking. I don't know who this guy is, but while we here, we gonna look into his health, how he's doing right now, because I'm not sure. But I know this happened about 3 days ago, I do believe. And as a matter of fact, I got a small video, I do believe, on how this happened. Let's go to that right quick. We haven't been here in a while about this, but I've been just kind of watching stuff behind the scenes, and I knew that it was going to come to this.
On Trump RX, the average price of injectables and orals will start at $350 on average. That's compared to roughly $500 today. And that will trend down to, you guessed it, the same $245 a month over the next 24 months. That is 1/5 of the list price. It is 1/2 of the best price in the United States today. We're hoping, Mr. President, that your friend who has to travel to England to afford these drugs will no longer need to do so and can come and do it in the United States. I'll also just mention that the $149 is $1 less than what you asked us to achieve. Just gonna make sure that's clear. So I want to highlight two other really important points that make me love this deal so very much. First, this isn't about spending more, it's about spending smarter. The savings from the diabetes drug price reductions are being used in a cost-neutral way to fund the new indications for taxpayers. That's amazing, and that happens inside of that same 24-month period. It's cost neutral. We're spending the money more wisely. But second, this isn't just about lower drug prices for Americans, though it does do that, but together with physical activity, with healthy eating and diet, and where appropriate, the use of breakthrough GLP-1s, the real return on investment is healthier Americans, lower chronic disease, lower costs, we estimate by tens of billions of dollars a year, and most importantly, higher productivity. Today is about freeing Americans from the weight, literally and figuratively, that holds us back. It's about unlocking the potential of every citizen to live fully, to contribute fully, and to find joy in their health. We cannot reach our full potential as a nation if we do not reach our full potential as individuals. And we cannot reach our full potential as individuals if we are not healthy. Thanks to Nova and Lily for showing up so constructively over the last several months to make this possible. In particular, thanks to you, Mr. President, for again demonstrating that you fight for every American, this time for potential. It's now my sincere pleasure to first introduce Dave Ricks from Lilly and then Mike Dusto from Nova.
Great, thank you, Chris. It's truly an honor to be here today for this historic step forward to expand access to a class of medications that can fundamentally change the arc of chronic disease in our country. Of course, these are the incretin or GLP-1 agonist that we've been speaking about. For nearly 150 years, my company, Eli Lilly, has been investing in America. We've been advancing science and creating high-value jobs. But today, are you okay? Gordon, you okay? Yeah.
Press, go. Thank you, press. Press. Cameras, we're done. Cameras.
So you see Levitt, she quickly jumped in telling people to turn off their cameras and all of that. And then you see Trump, he didn't go over there to help or anything. And people was making a deal about that, saying that he was just standing there looking. So he kind of, let me pull up the picture that people were talking about. So that's pretty much the end result of that incident. And the guy's name, the man who passed out, his name was Gordon Finley, and he was a guest and a healthcare executive from Novo Nordisk. He fainted during the event at the White House on November 6, 2025, where President Trump was announcing a deal to lower the cost of weight loss drugs. The White House stated that Finley was quickly attended by the medical unit and he's okay, as of this report. So that made news. They got his legs elevated. Trump is kind of like, what the hell is going on? And then I got one like when he first stood up. Let me go through my little clips. My pictures that I got here. Oh, that's something else. I don't know when this event happened, but it wasn't long ago. Probably the other day. He fell asleep in the Oval Office. They are catching him. They on him. They keeping up with everything happening. Okay, so let's see. Let's go through these so I can get rid of them. And man, it's gonna get worse before it get better, y'all. As far as the SNAP and all of that, with the non-agreements and things that they came up with or lack thereof. So I'm gonna get into what Gavin Newsom had to say about the shutdown too. But before we go there, I want to see what Caroline Leavitt was talking about. Let's go there.
Balance America's trade deals, protect American workers, and returning our country to be a manufacturing superpower once again. Tonight, the Democrats are intentionally hurting American families, workers, and businesses with this shutdown to fight for free health care for illegal aliens and to appease their radical left-wing base. And it's a total disgrace. This past weekend, Americans traveling to weddings, funerals, vacations, and meetings faced significant flight disruptions at airports across the country because of staffing shortages. On Sunday alone, more than 5,000 flights traveling to and from U.S. airports were delayed. Since the Democrat shutdown began, 4 times as many staffing shortages have been reported at air traffic control facilities compared to last year. TSA checkpoint wait times ballooned past 3 hours at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport, with some passengers enduring up to 5 hours in line. At nearby William P. Hobby Airport in Texas, security wait times are routinely exceeding 1 hour. More than 13,000 air traffic controllers are continuing to work without pay. Because of the Democrats, these men and women who keep our airspace safe and moving will miss a second paycheck in a row this Friday if Democrats refuse to open the government. Let me be clear to our incredible air traffic controllers across the country. President Trump and Republicans want you to get your paychecks. They want you to be paid. Please call on your Democrat senators and tell them to side with President Trump and Republicans to vote to reopen the government. Our nation's 4 largest airlines, United, Delta, American, and Southwest, have now all endorsed the Republican nonpartisan clean funding bill to end the government shutdown. Major unions, collectively representing tens of thousands of pilots, have also joined the airlines in calling on Democrats to pass the clean nonpartisan CR. The travel industry is also imploring Democrats to end the shutdown and reopen the government. Nearly 500 companies and groups in the travel business, including casinos, hotels, and convention bureaus, signed a public letter warning that America's travel economy has already lost $4 billion due to this Democrat shutdown, and they have called for the Republican CR to be passed, saying Americans expect and deserve a fully functioning federal government during the peak holiday travel season. Never before have we seen private industry and union leadership so unified on the same issue, rallying behind Republicans in such a vocal way. The Democrats have completely lost the plot. They are endangering the safety, prosperity, and livelihoods of millions of Americans. It's well past time Democrats do what they did 13 times under Joe Biden and pass the clean funding bill.
Can I get y'all to smack that thumbs up, please? That helps operate the channel. Is very helpful to my channel. So if y'all could smack that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you have not. But I'm looking at 52 thumbs up right now. I mean, 52 people in the building and 6 thumbs up. So can y'all please smack that thumbs up button? And I don't know what name you saying. So since you don't know what chat you in, you can get the hell up out of here with that.
Extension. All we need.
Thank you to the ones that just hit the thumbs up. Can we get 49 thumbs up? We need about 40 more, y'all.
Are 5 Democrat senators to put country over party and vote to end this reckless shutdown. In other news, tomorrow will mark the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's historic election victory, where he won nearly 80 million votes, the popular vote, in all 7 swing states. This was the ultimate poll on November 5th. The president secured a mandate to make America great again, and he has delivered in record time. Never before have we had a president who has kept their promises like President Trump has. I'd like to go over a few of those with you. In less than 10 short months, President Trump signed the largest middle-class tax cut in history, including no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security to put more money back into the pockets of the American people. The president ended the southern border invasion of the Biden administration, made our border the most secure in history, and he is carrying out the largest mass deportation campaign of illegal aliens in our nation's history to protect our homeland, just as promised. President Trump has aggressively taken on drug cartels by declaring them as foreign terrorist organizations and even blowing up narco-terrorists who have tried to poison the American people with fentanyl and other illegal narcotics. President Trump defeated the Biden inflation crisis, and he continues to implement a pro-growth, America First economic agenda to make America affordable again. And we are seeing the results of that every day. Inflation has remained low and steady, averaging just 2.5% compared to the painful average of 5% under Biden. And we know it was historically higher than that for most of President Biden's term. Meanwhile, real private sector wages are on track to rise by almost $1,500 since President Trump took office, a significant change to the Biden years where private sector wages declined and were being wiped out by inflation. President Trump has ended the reckless war on American energy and unleashed energy dominance, with gas prices now plummeting to their lowest average levels in more than 4 years. President Trump implemented powerful tariffs to rebalance America's trade deals, protect American workers, and returning our country to be a manufacturing superpower once again. As a result, the president has secured trillions and trillions of dollars in private and foreign investments into the United States, which are creating high-paying jobs for the greatest workforce in the world. The president has restored America's place as the leader of the free world through his unwavering peace through strength foreign policy that has already ended 8 wars and counting. And the president ended illegal DEI initiatives in our federal government and is returning our country to a merit-based society based on common sense. President Trump protected opportunities for women and girls to compete safely and fairly by continuing to keep men out of women's sports. Americans have a president who works tirelessly, literally 24/7, to improve their lives and make our country better than it has ever been before. So with that, today, we will open it up to questions, and we will start with our independent journalist in our new media seat, Julio Rosas. Julio, please start. Thank you.
Thanks, Caroline. So over the weekend in Mexico, a mayor in Michoacan, Carlos Manso, he was assassinated while celebrating Dia de Muertos with his family. His assassination has sparked a lot of outrage. A lot of Mexicans are very upset. They're blaming President Claudia Sheinbaum for not taking the cartel threat seriously enough. Yesterday, she said that, once again, she's not going to allow any foreign military intervention to take on the cartels on Mexican soil, and that Mexico is not going to pursue a drug war similar to what they've done in the past. So my question is President Trump satisfied with Claudia Sheinbaum's approach to cartels? And if not, has Manso's assassination kind of opened up some new options for the United States to pursue regarding cartels?
Well, first of all, with respect to this specific news item and this alleged assassination that took place in Mexico, I know the Trump administration, we are aware of that. And of course, we condemn all political violence anywhere in all forms. As for Claudia Sheinbaum and the president's relationship with her, I think he has a lot of respect for her as president of Mexico. And he also really appreciates the coordination that she has provided to the Trump administration. I can't speak for her and what she's doing internally in her country. I can speak for the president in saying we are continually pushing Mexico to do more to tackle the drug trafficking and the drug cartels within their country, and we are working with them in any way that we can. And the president has obviously used the full range of executive options and his authorities to crack down on drug trafficking at our southern border. And to designate these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and additional actions as well.
Just one more question.
Sure.
So at the Antifa roundtable that we were at just last month, myself and the other panelists made the recommendation to the president for, speaking of foreign terrorist organizations, to have Antifa not just be domestic terrorist organization, but be designated as a foreign terrorist organization since they have cells in other countries. He mentioned to Secretary Rubio, because he was in the room at the time, to look into that. So I just wanted to see if there's an update on that recommendation.
That process is most definitely taking place. I don't have any announcements for you on that today, but I can certainly assure you the administration is working on it, and I'll check in on it and get back to you, Julio. It's a good question. Thank you very much. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. Zoran Mamdani blamed the president for bomb threats and intimidation at polling locations. He said, quote, part of the general approach of the Trump administration has taken to intimidate voters with baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means of trying to repress the voice of Americans across this country. I want to give you a chance to respond to that.
Yeah, I saw those comments from Mamdani. I think they are completely irresponsible, and they are based on zero evidence. And I think this is just another example of how the Democrat Party unfortunately stands for nothing. All they stand against is President Donald Trump. And I think it's quite sad to see that we have someone at the top of the ticket on an election day today saying such things about the president when he obviously had absolutely nothing to do with those threats.
On the shutdown, Democrats have been pretty quiet about the president's push for the nuclear option, terminating the filibuster. Is there any concern around here that Democrats might actually want Republicans to get rid of the filibuster so that one day when they're in power again, the door's already open for them to pack the Supreme Court, give statehood to DC and Puerto Rico, make mail-in balloting permanent, those kinds of things?
I think the president has been very realistic and strong in his position on the filibuster. He's been very vocal about it. I just spoke to him about it. He feels really strongly about this. Republicans need to play tough and they need to play smart. That's how the president feels. And we know that Democrats, if they are ever given a chance at power again in this city, they will absolutely take away the filibuster from the United States Senate. In fact, you had 49 Democrats who already voted to do this before. The only reason it did not move forward was because you had 2 Democrats who are no longer in office because they were run out of town by the far left radical base of their party. And so President Trump is quite clear on this. He wants to see Republicans move as many good pieces of legislation for our country forward in the next 3 years of his administration as they possibly can. And the filibuster is one means to doing that.
I talked to Johnson and Thune about it. I know that they had both voiced some opposition. Have there been any conversations with them?
He has. He's made his position to them very clear, both publicly and privately. Ouija.
Can you help clear up some confusion about SNAP benefits? Because
Sure.
The president just posted that they will only be given out when the radical left Democrats open the government and not before.
Mhm.
But just yesterday, the administration said it would comply with a court order to expend the full amount of SNAP contingency funds by end of business day yesterday. So did the administration distribute that money or defy that court order?
No, the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment and the judges.
So I do want to stop this because last time I checked, they didn't. They fought to not do this. Trump, they did not pay the SNAP benefits, right? I know they said that they were supposed to. The judge told them to, but they didn't, correct? I heard either they did not do it at all or they did partial. But either way it goes, it's over with from what I'm looking at. But we're going to get more into it. I'm going to look for some more details on that. But it was going back and forth. It's hard to follow this stuff when it's actually active. But did the November benefits hit halfway or not? Let me know in the chat if y'all know.
Order put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP. but it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP.
Okay, so if we are to listen at her, so now that the government is open because 8 Democrats voted, they folded is what is being said. Nobody's happy with their movement. So it says here, basically, a deal reached. This is the so-called deal. GOP leaders are trying to push a funding bill as quickly as possible after the Senate took a key step last night towards reopening the government. 8 Democrats joined with Republicans to advance a federal funding measure in exchange for a future vote for extending exchanged Affordable Care Act. But it's not sounding like any of that is going to make a difference. I mean, because let me see what Gavin Newsom posted. So Gavin Newsom, 15 hours ago, he posted, just going to leave this one here. And he shared something from somebody. The question, will you assure House Democrats they'll get a vote on the Affordable Care Act subsidiaries by a date? And this is what Mike Johnson had to say. So it's not happening. They wasn't budging, and they ain't gonna budge now. Do y'all think they will? This is what he said.
Because we did our job, and I'm not part of the negotiation. The House did it. He's offered them a vote. You know what they told him in response? No, we need you to guarantee the outcome of that vote. Well, that's ridiculous. That can't be done. No, because we did our job, and I'm not part of the negotiation. The House did its job on September 19th. I'm not promising anybody anything. I'm going to let this process play out. I'll tell you what they wanted. I'll tell you what Schumer and Jeffries wanted. In fact, Chuck Schumer said it publicly and decried that Thune and I would not go in a back room with them and make a four corners agreement on Obamacare subsidies. And I said, there's no way. That was never possible or appropriate.
And then I heard somebody saying, well, basically, that if this folds or failed, the whatever they voted for, Democrats basically folded, and they're basically saying, well, it'll be on them for sure. The Republicans, if everything don't work out, they'll have to eat it. They'll have to own it. Like what? They folded with nothing to back up anything.
Beneficiary at home who needs that assistance. And the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government.
So with them using all of that, now let's see what they're going to do. Because, hey, they was blaming it on the Democrats. It's back open. What's going to happen now, y'all? Let me know. What do y'all think? Dems are causing needless hurt to Americans for the political agenda. Man, listen, they not in charge. But, okay, they voted, so now what? Now what's going to happen? Let's finish listening at this and see what changes after this. What y'all think gonna change?
Fund for the future if this shutdown lingers on?
Look, the president does not want to have to continue to dip into a contingency fund that doesn't even have enough money, by the way, to fund the full program. It takes $9 billion to get the full scale of the benefits out the door. This contingency fund only has about $5 billion in it. So again, Democrats need to reopen the government so we can get these benefits out the door for people who truly need them. Kate.
The president suggested that if Downing wins, that he would cut federal funding.
She said for people who truly needs them. So, what do y'all think it's going to be? I'm interested to find out. But it says here, 8 Democrats joined with the Republicans to advance a federal funding measure in exchange for a future vote on extending enhanced affordable care subsidiaries. That ain't about to happen.
To New York, how much funding would be impacted? What would be impacted there?
Well, look, we won't get ahead of the election results, nor will I speak to what the president may do in the future. we'll see how tonight goes, and then I'll let him speak on it further.
And why did the administration exclude Democratic lawmakers? Last week there was a briefing about U.S. strikes on alleged drug trafficking boats. Why were those Democrats excluded?
The administration has briefed Congress on these matters 8 separate times, and Democrats have been included in those briefings. In fact, I know that Secretary Rubio will be on Capitol Hill tomorrow to brief the Gang of 12, which includes Democrats as well. So the president's made it very clear. If senators want to understand the administration's operations against narco drug traffickers, we are very happy to speak with them about that, and we will continue to do so. But we've been incredibly transparent. As I said, there's been 8 briefings on this topic, with the 9th coming tomorrow. Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline. There's been some reporting out there about the possibility of furloughed workers not getting back pay. We know that the president signed that bill into law in his first term. Does the administration guarantee that all furloughed workers will get back pay?
This is something we are very much open to discussing with Democrats as part of the discussions about the continuing resolution to keep the government open. And it's something that Republicans are talking with Democrats about right now. I won't get ahead of those negotiations or discussions.
That's a possibility that may not happen, even though it's law.
I just said Republicans in the White House are very much open to discussing this with Democrats.
And just one last question. As this government shutdown now drags on, about to make history as the longest government shutdown in American history, can you talk about what the president is personally doing to try to see an end to this?
He's pushing Republicans to keep voting and to keep opening up the Senate floor to vote for the clean continuing resolution. He had the Senate Majority Leader and the House Caucus Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, here at the White House to talk about this in the very early stages, to give them a chance to come to their senses and avoid this entire government shutdown at the very beginning. And they chose not to. And I think it's been very clear to everyone in this room and to everyone across the country that the Democrats are playing partisan politics with our United States federal government. And all Republicans have wanted to do for the last 35 days is reopen the government. That has been the president's position since day one. It is his position today on day 35. And all we need are 5 common sense Democrats with have a little bit of courage and come to the table and vote with Republicans. I saw Senator John Fetterman on television last night saying that he hopes more folks in his party will step up. And we certainly agree with him on that point.
Sure. Caroline, the president posted on Truth Social that the voting underway in California is, quote, rigged. What evidence does he have of that? And what does it mean that mail-in ballots in that state are under legal and criminal review? By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting? And what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. I've got 2 questions I'd like to ask you about New York, but first I'd like to ask you about breaking news from the Attorney General. She revealed just about an hour ago that the Biden Justice Department seized President Trump's official first-term phone and subpoenaed his private phone records. Do you have a reaction to that? And also, do we know if they actually got those private call records?
I saw the Attorney General's post on that. For additional questions, I would refer you to the Department of Justice, but I think this is just further evidence of the egregious overreach and weaponization of government that took place under the previous White House against then former president and now President Donald J. Trump.
So how much do y'all think it would change the world of voting if they stop mail-in votes, which if that's what they want to do, that's what's going to happen. That's what it's looking like to me. So how do y'all think that's going to change things? Because it's some people that can't get out to vote. You know what I'm saying? And they mail them in. A lot of people that can get out and vote mail them in for convenience and stuff. So I remember at one point they were stopping people from picking up bus loads of people to go vote. So what is that going to look like?
It was a clear effort by the Biden White House and the Biden DOJ to go after the president, and this is just further evidence of that.
on New York. We've seen the president's messages that he's put out, but could you describe how he's feeling as a New Yorker watching this election?
Well, the president is a New Yorker and he loves New York. It is his home. He talks about that all of the time, and he's made his thoughts on this election quite clear, I think, himself. In the back, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Over the weekend, there were reports.
I was going to you in the green, but go ahead and then you can have your.
Thank you. Over the weekend, there were reports that President Trump was due to host President of Syria, Ahmed al-Sharia, on Monday. Do you have any preview for that meeting? Is he expected to invite him to join the U.S.-led anti-ISIS coalition?
I can confirm that that meeting will be taking place here at the White House on Monday, and this is part of the president's efforts in diplomacy to meet with anyone around the world in the pursuit of peace. And as you know, when the president was in the Middle East, he made the historic decision to lift sanctions on Syria to give them a real chance at peace. And I think the administration, we've seen good progress on that front under their new leadership. And so he will be here at the White House on Monday, and I'll let the president speak further on it on Monday. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. I was just curious, you had mentioned there that President Trump, as we know, has been speaking with Republican leaders in Congress about reopening the government. Is he involved in any other negotiations? And is he prepared to sign something if a deal does come out by the end of this week? On top of that, with SNAP benefits, does he have any authorities or considering any authority there to release more funds to help people who are desperately needing these benefits?
So look, I think I've already answered the question on SNAP. We're complying with the court's order, and we're getting that partial payment out the door as much as we can and as quickly as we can, but it's going to take some time because, again, this is a prorated payment that we're tapping into a contingency fund for. The best way to get those payments out the door is for Democrats to reopen the government. But yes, the president is in constant communication with his friends on Capitol Hill. They know they call, he answers, he picks up the phone. He's a very transparent president in that way. And as soon as the Democrats pass the clean continuing resolution, President Trump will be here to sign it. Michael.
Thank you, Caroline. President Trump has threatened to go into Nigeria, guns a-blazing, if Nigeria's government does not stop the killing of Christians in that country. Has the White House heard back from Nigeria's government on this threat?
As the president stated, Michael, if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the United States will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may take action to wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities, especially against innocent women and children. I don't have any further announcements on that for you today, but I can assure you the President of the United States is watching this situation unfold very closely, as is our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
Question, Caroline. President Trump has endorsed Andrew Cuomo in New York City's mayoral race. He has not by name endorsed Winsome Sears in Virginia's gubernatorial race. Why is that?
Look, as you know, from this podium, I'm quite limited in what I can say with regards to ongoing political elections. I think the president has spoken for himself and what he wants to see take place in these elections today. Lalit.
Thank you. I would like to ask you about India and U.S. citizenship. What is the president's thoughts on the future?
Yeah, that is a concern. Many kids, I mean, it's more kids on SNAP than anybody, obviously, and because that's who's allowed to get them for the most part, and others. But I mean, it's gonna be bad for this holiday season for a long time, and things that's happening will take a long time. It'll never go back to what it was. This is just gonna be something new. I'm not thinking that they paid those. I think they were supposed to, and it didn't, and they still waiting on them. That's what I think. But I'm not sure because I mean, do y'all know? And I need to know somebody that told me they got their benefits. I don't know if I can trust what I'm reading. And Megan said, I'm so confused. I would love to see how they decide who actually needs SNAP and who doesn't. Like, are you kidding me? Do they have any idea how many kids are going to go without food right now? That's an absolute fact. And it's sad. I mean, I agree that, yeah, maybe it needed some limits, some reform, but to just do away with it and start over, basically what they doing. I don't know, man, this is a mess. It is a mess. Everything, grocery prices, everything is through the roof. It's definitely affecting me. I had to go back to work full time because things are higher. And I know that for a fact. As far as my household, as far as the insurance and all of that, we right there. We right here. It's the time to redo the insurances for the year. I don't know why I can't even think. Open enrollment. It's open enrollment right now. And so I didn't see a spike. I didn't see a spike personally, but I'm sure that is something that changed. I got to study it a little bit, but everything else is high as heck. Everything. How about y'all?
Future of India-US relationship.
And I don't get no type of government assistance, by the way. Period.
I'm sorry, Lily, can you repeat that?
What is President's thoughts on future of India-US relationship?
I think he feels very positive and strongly about it. As you know, he recently, a few weeks back, spoke to Prime Minister directly when he celebrated in the Oval Office Diwali with many high-ranking Indian American officials here at the White House. We have a great U.S. ambassador to India in Mr. Sergio Gore, who will represent our country very well. And the president.
And the reason why I'm saying I'm looking up things, trying to see if anybody got a partial payment for November. And it says yes. I just Googled it. It says yes, based off of the guidance amid the ongoing government shutdown. SNAP benefits for November are currently expected to be a partial payment, amounting approximately 65% of the usual monthly allotment. And so if I'm to read this, it's the 10th. It still ain't been paid. Is that what it is?
President and his trade team continue to be in very serious discussions with India with respect to that topic. So I know the president has great respect for Prime Minister Modi, and they speak pretty frequently. Thank you.
Yes. The air traffic controller crisis ongoing. Secretary Duffy said he will now start to cancel on ground flights next week to maintain safety. Should people fly next week given this new information? And is the administration encouraging people to stop flying altogether and look at alternative transportation modes?
The administration is encouraging Democrats to reopen the federal government so this chaos and disruption to our air traffic control system in the United States of America stops. It is
welfare, food stamps, assistance is not a Democrat thing, man. More people than you know is on. More people you do know is on the assistance themselves. This is a human rights thing. It's a human thing. It's not a color in it. It's not a party in it. It's just people.
Ridiculous that we have even gotten to this place and that the Democrats have continued to shut down the government with 35 days, our air traffic controllers continuing to work unpaid, every single major airline in our country coming out.
Boy, there's been a lot of planes falling out the sky too this week.
Out and begging the Democrats to please reopen the government. And you had a Democrat staffer who was quoted, I believe in Politico a few weeks back, saying, short of planes falling out of the sky, we are not going to reopen the government.
What? So yes, y'all know. I know y'all been seeing it. The lines not even just the lines. People just basically flights 6-hour waiting. It's crazy. Now I've been saying this though since I was reporting all the planes falling out the sky. I'm good. If I ain't driving, I ain't going.
That is a reckless and dangerous statement from someone who didn't want to put their name on that statement. But we know it came from the Democrat Party. And I think we're very clear. We want to reopen the government so we can resume travel in the safest and most efficient way possible, especially as we head into the busiest travel season of the month. We have Thanksgiving in a few weeks. And so Americans across the country need to make it very clear to their Democrat representatives that we want this government to be reopened so we can resume safe.
We might have one person in the chat that got the stamps, or sister. Somebody said my sister got her food stamps November 7th. She will get them every Friday. She will get 25%. 25% of what she usually get? Well, I guess it's better than nothing. If, I don't think people are on there that shouldn't be on there, because if they was, people have to qualify to be on food stamps. But One thing that I did find out that I didn't know about is it's a lot of people that was using the food stamps for other things. Like they got businesses and I covered a case where this guy had everybody giving him their food stamp card, and that was David E. Taylor at this church. He had all of these folks that is just corruptness going on, but he had all these people, members that actually qualified for him, that was giving him all of these stamps. And then I ran across a business that was doing it, and I'm gonna pull that up too. As soon as we get through this, I just want to hear all this that she's saying, because now that the government, they voted to have it back open, everything that she's saying is because of the Democrats and all of that. Then things should go on now, right? I mean, they just wanted it open so they could negotiate, right? That's what they said, the Republicans, right?
And efficient travel. Fran.
Caroline, as of last I checked, the president still had not commented on the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. Is the White House involved in funeral arrangements in any way? Does the president plan to speak at the funeral? Has he spoken to anyone in the Cheney family today? And does the White House have an opinion on whether or not the former vice president should lie in honor or state in the Capitol?
I don't believe the White House is involved in that planning, or at least hasn't gotten to it yet. I know the president is aware of the former vice president's passing, and as you saw, flags have been lowered to half staff in accordance with statutory law.
I know that.
Thank you. Back on the question of the filibuster, how much political capital is President Trump willing to expend to get Republicans to do what he's asking? I mean, will we see him at the Hill? Will he be calling folks over here? What exactly is President Trump planning to do outside of these true socials and maybe some of these private conversations to get Republicans to fall in line?
Look, I think you'll see. I think you'll see the president continue to engage very strongly and consistently with his friends on Capitol Hill. I don't have any meetings to read out for you at this time, but I think you should stay tuned and keep your eyes on Truth Social on this matter. The president's making his position on it quite clear. And again, he is right. Republicans need to play tough. We know that this is what the Democrats will do if they are ever given the keys to power again. And he wants to pass as many good pieces of legislation as we possibly can for our country and for our people. That includes election integrity reforms. It includes additional tax policy. It includes, fixing our immigration system further in ways that only Congress can. And the president fears, with a Democrat Party that is so radical and opposes everything he does and everything he says, this is the only option for Republicans to move forward. Karen.
Question. President Trump said to CBS in the 60 Minutes interview that
Welcome
he did
back,
not
Sherry.
know the Binance founder, which he pardoned. What exactly did he mean for that? I know it caused.
He means he does not know him personally. He means he does not have a personal relationship with this individual. And when it comes to pardons, the White House takes them with the utmost seriousness, and the president understands the responsibility that he has as president to issue clemency and issue pardons to individuals who are seeking that. That's why we have a very thorough review process here that moves with the Department of Justice and the White House counsel's office. There's a whole team of qualified lawyers who look at every single pardon request that ultimately make their way up to the president of the United States. He's the ultimate final decision maker. And he was very clear when he came into office that he was most interested in looking at pardoning individuals who were abused and used by the Biden Department of Justice and were over prosecuted by a weaponized DOJ. And the individual you're referring to, that was certainly the case. Even the judge in his case said that the sentencing that the Biden administration was asking for was egregious and went too far. And so the president is correcting that wrong, and he has officially ended the Biden administration's war on the cryptocurrency industry. And I think that's the message he sent with this pardon. Karen, yes.
Back on the issue of back pay for furloughed workers, you said that the White House is open to discussing that with Democrats, but what would that discussion even be? There was a law, the president signed it in 2019. What could a discussion look like? Why is that even open for discussion?
Look, Karen, as I said, Republicans are talking about that with Democrats right now, and I don't want to get in the middle of those sensitive conversations. But as we've complied with the SNAP order, the White House, the administration is always going to comply with the laws. We're always going to comply with the ruling of judges across the country. But the Republicans are discussing this matter with Democrats right now.
Why would there even be a consideration of not paying those workers?
Tom Dempsey, News Nation. The big day in the Supreme Court tomorrow with President Trump's tariff policy facing a legal challenge. What's at stake with that case? And if the Supreme Court rules against the Trump administration. What is Plan B for trade policy?
I'll tell you, the White House is always preparing for Plan B. It would be imprudent of the president's advisors not to prepare for such a situation. With that said, we are 100% confident in the president and his team's legal argument in the merits of the law in this case. And we remain optimistic that the Supreme Court is going to do the right thing. The importance of this case cannot be overstated. The president must have the emergency authority to utilize tariffs. Look at what President Trump has been able to do with the leverage and the power of tariffs. He's been able to sign peace deals all over the world and end global conflicts and literally save lives. He's been able to bring in trillions of dollars of investments into our country. In fact, this year alone, we are going to cut the deficit by $600 billion, namely because of the president's effective use of tariffs. And the president strongly believes that economic security is a matter of national security, and tariffs have a lot to do with that. And this case is not just about President Trump. It's about the use of this emergency authorization for tariffs for future presidents and administrations to come. And we're confident and hopeful that the Supreme Court will do the right thing. Kristen.
Why did President Trump get an MRI during his recent visit to Wall Street?
Look, as President Trump said, he would inquire with the physicians. I'll check back on that. But as the physical itself stated, Kristen, and as you all know, because you are all witness to it, every single day, the president is in optimal physical health. This was a follow-up appointment, and we provided a detailed readout of that physical. I'm happy to give it to you again, and I can inquire further.
With all due respect, an MRI is a very specific procedure. It's done on a part of the body looking for something specific, so it's not generally part of any kind of routine checkup. And in addition, President Trump has said that he wants to be transparent. He told us to ask the doctors, which we have and have not heard back. Why don't we have more information on this?
As I said, I'll check back for you. Go ahead.
John, can you update us on the mediation efforts this administration is leading in Sudan, trying to achieve a ceasefire there?
Sure, yes. The United States is actively engaged in efforts to bring about a peaceful resolution to the terrible conflict in Sudan. We remain committed.
I want to say thank you to the ones that did hit the thumbs up, y'all, but the thumbs up is so important. Can y'all please hit the thumbs up? I mean, it's a way to support the host, the channel, the content. I don't ask for money. I don't like to beg. Y'all free to give. It's many ways to give and support. But all I ask is that y'all smack that thumbs up if y'all sitting in my chat, in my bushes, or whatever. Out of respect. It's so important. So I'm looking at what Gavin Newsom had to say. He said, now is not the time to roll over. America will become unrecognizable unless we fight back. So let's see what he's saying here.
A little bit. So I love your question. I worry now, though. Sounds like some of my colleagues and friends in the United States Senate, some of my Democratic colleagues just decided that we're playing by the old set of rules, not the new set of rules. It may have rolled over a little bit. So I love your question. It's the right question. I want to be part of that answer as an American citizen, not as a governor, as the ex-governor of California. But right now, we've got to hold the line because I think America will become unrecognizable in a year or two unless we fight back.
In a year or two, because it ain't no fighting back. Yeah, I heard about that too. Something about $2,000 checks or something like that. But that would be, what did I hear, about $300 billion if he gave everybody working Americans checks, $2,000 checks. Yeah, you believe it?
To working with our international partners, including Quad members, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, as well as others, to lead a negotiated peace process that addresses both the immediate humanitarian crisis and the longer-term political challenges. I actually spoke with Secretary Rubio about this morning, as of course there's been, kind of an uptick in recent reporting on the matter, and he assured me that the administration is very much engaged. We're in pretty frequent communication with those Arab partners that I just mentioned. And we want to see this conflict come to a peaceful end, just as we have with so many others. But the reality is it's a very complicated situation on the ground right now. Yes.
Hi, yes. Just trying to go back into the subject of Mexico. Is the Trump administration planning to send U.S. troops to Mexico to combat drug cartels, as reported by other outlets?
That's not something I would confirm from this podium if it were happening. So I will not comment on that. Eamon.
Thank you, Caroline.
I don't
Why did the
believe it
president
either,
decide
Carla.
not to go to the Supreme Court tomorrow? He'd indicated earlier that he might want to go and attend in person.
Yeah.
Now he's saying he's not going to go. Why?
The president did have an interest in attending the Supreme Court hearing tomorrow, as I just expressed how important it is to him, the administration, and the country, this case. But he is traveling to Miami tomorrow, as you all know, to give an economic address with the mayor of Miami and many global business leaders to talk about his historic success with the economy over the past 10 months and talk about sort of where we are headed as a
$2,000 is the new grocery bill. Maybe that's why he picked $2,000. Somebody said it's gas money. Who said that? Somebody said it's gas money. I can't see it right now, but yeah, it's not a lot of money at all. And I don't think it'll happen. I mean, they could have just paid the people, the benefits or whatever if they wanted to pay that kind of money.
Country in terms of our economy. So he'll be traveling tomorrow on the road in Miami. That's why he won't be here. But Secretary Scott Bessent will be in attendance at the hearing tomorrow at the request of the president.
He has said that he doesn't want to export the high-end NVIDIA chips to China.
Correct.
But the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that there was some question about whether the president would raise this as a possible concession with the Chinese side during his meeting with Xi Jinping. So does the White House consider NVIDIA chip exports to China to be a closed issue right now, or is this an ongoing negotiation between the United States, China, and NVIDIA at this point?
The president has made.
So we got somebody in the building said, I love her. I love Trump. I love he's not taking any crap and is putting a stop to the scammers and the criminals. I love he is MAGA. Okay. Hey, you free to love whatever. A lot of people feel that way until it hits home, baby. And when it hit home, it changes for many. But definitely, I mean, you free to feel however you want to feel. I don't knock anybody for how they feel.
Made his position on this very clear, both to the Chinese and also to all of you. He's answered this question directly. As for the most advanced chips, the Blackwell chip, that's not something we're interested in selling to China at this time. Annie?
Does the president think that the results of the Virginia or New Jersey gubernatorial races tomorrow, or statewide races tomorrow, will in any way reflect?
Thank you. Yes,
BFF
BFF.
administration?
Let me pause
Look,
it on that one.
I'm not at liberty to talk about the election.
Love hitting the like button while you in my chat. That's what I would love to see over here. The respect to the host. Like, I don't know why y'all think it's cool not to hit the thumbs up. I thank everybody that did, y'all, but our goal is always to get 500 thumbs up. We want to see that. We want to see that. It's free, y'all. Double tap the screen to hit that thumbs up, or just hit the thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel if you have not. I mean, we can't operate without, a little engagement. It's so very, very important. Even if I'm not your favorite content creator, act like I am out of respect and hit the thumbs up because you're here. I don't like begging for nothing. This is irritating to me.
Thank you for sharing me. Thank you for sharing me. Thank you for sharing me. For sharing me. For sharing me. For sharing me. Thank you for so much.
Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Thank you to the few people that actually did hit the thumbs up. I mean, if you're here, go ahead and smack the thumbs up. Don't be a butthole all your life.
Results, and I certainly won't get ahead of them. I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals that may or may not happen tonight. We'll have to watch and see. And I'm sure you'll hear directly from the president tomorrow on that point.
Stop just really quickly. Is there anything that prompted the president's tweet this morning? Because it did seem quite different from some of his other communications about SNAP. It seemed a little bit out of the left field. I'm just wondering if he had a conversation or if there's anything you're aware of that caused him to decide to around 11 o'clock to send out that message.
Look, the president is constantly well read on the news, as you know. And he is very much aware we are in day 35 of a government shutdown in which these SNAP benefits, were pushing them out the door. USDA put out that guidance to the states this morning. The president was aware of that, and he wants to make it very clear that these benefits are in jeopardy because of the Democrats.
She said the SNAP benefits we pushing out the door. Man, homeless people, I heard that they just disappeared. Like they said the shopping carts are still there and they just gone. Like they said they sent them somewhere to work for free. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. And I'm like, what? What's really going on? And then we gotta see what Bernie Sanders and old Schumer got to say about this government shutdown. And hold on. Give me a second because I'm grabbing some more stuff here. We about to wrap it up on this one.
And they should just open the government so that we can continue getting these funds out the door in an easier and more efficient way.
There's some new reporting that just dropped a few minutes ago that the Trump administration is negotiating with the makers of Ozempic to sell some weight loss drugs for $149 a month. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. Do you have any more information on that? Can you confirm that?
I think the president has said himself in previous Most Favored Nations announcements that this is something that the administration has been engaged in and looking into. I won't get ahead of the president on any future announcements, but I will echo his strong commitment to bringing down drug prices in this country. And you've heard it directly from Secretary Kennedy and Dr. Marty McCary and his entire Health and Human Services team, how committed the president is to bringing down the cost of drugs. And we're working with pharmaceutical companies to do that every day.
Very quickly, Caroline, on SNAP. I know it's been asked, and I know we asked it, but I want to put a fine point on it. You talked about president's post here, and he wrote that SNAP benefits will only be given to radical left Democrats open up the government. I understand your previous answers, but as written, how would that not violate the court order as it's written?
I've now answered this question several times, Gabe. We are complying with the court's order.
They
We are
didn't
getting
comply.
the payments out the door as quickly as we can. USDA sent the guidance to the state. The president is referring to future SNAP payments. He does not want to have to keep tapping in to an emergency fund and depleting it. In the case of a catastrophe in this country, he wants to have those funds preserved as they should be. And he's made it very clear Democrats should reopen the government. I have one final positive note for all of you. I told you I would keep you posted when the White House would resume public tours. Well, I'm pleased to announce the Office of the First Lady has reopened the doors for public tours on Tuesday, December 6th.
Yay, public tours for everyone. No food benefits. No nothing. Tariffs dividends will come with the Doge check and the health care plan. Yeah, it ain't coming. It ain't coming. It is not coming, man. Okay, so let me see. Now, this was the vote last night. Gavin Newsom posted this also. America deserves better. This was 13 hours ago. The Senate votes 60-40 to advance a bipartisan deal to end the long government shutdown. Now they said a Senate votes to 60-40 to advance a bipartisan deal to end the longest government shutdown. And we heard what Mike said. What is the deal? They don't even know. They don't have anything. I heard they have talked about possibly extending it until for another year while they in negotiations or whatever. That didn't happen. I knew that was gonna happen too. My phone was gonna ring. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let's play.
Second, there will be an updated route, of course, for guests in light of the ballroom construction that's taking place. But we very much look forward to celebrating the holiday season. And the public and members of Congress and anyone who wants to come visit the First Lady's beautiful decorations is welcome to go to whitehouse.gov/visit to sign up for a tour. Thanks, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Layton in New York. There is breaking news tonight on the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Let's go live now to Capitol Hill, where the Senate has just taken the first step to end the record-long government shutdown, 40 days and counting. Senators voting to pass a new bill proposed by Republicans that would fund the government through January 30th. Now, this bill still needs to go through the House, and it is not yet clear whether House Democratic leaders are on board with this deal. Now, the bill notably does not include an extension of expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, which, as you know, was a major sticking point and still is for Democrats. Democrats instead settling for a promise that the Senate will vote on a bill for that next month. Two sources telling NBC News tonight. Let's go straight to NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles. Ryan, good evening. Let's talk.
Okay, so before I do that, now that I'm off the phone that never rings if I ain't live, okay, so this is what Gavin Newsom, he talked about the Senate votes 40 to 60. Let's play that again.
Having voted in the affirmative.
Well, let's play that.
On this vote, the yeas are 60 and the nays are 40. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn having voted in the affirmative. The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
Okay, so that was that. I seen a video that was like 23 hours long. I'm like, all of that, the government shut down for this long just to come up with nothing? I mean, I'm not getting that.
About what this procedural vote means and what is in the bill, or perhaps more notably, what is not in this bill.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first step in what will be a relatively long process to finally get this bill over the finish line and then eventually get to President Trump's desk. And then the government will be back open. The Senate is a very laborious place. It takes a long time for legislation to work its way through the Senate. But essentially, this was the most important hurdle. It demonstrated that there were 60 Senate Republicans and Democrats that were willing to vote yes on a package that would get the government back open. They'll go through these procedural hurdles over the next couple of days, depending on how many senators want to hold the process up. It could be wrapped up as soon as Monday. It could take until Wednesday or Thursday of next week. And then, of course, the House will have to return to Washington and vote on it as well. There's no guarantee that it will pass in the House. But given the fact that Republicans in the Senate were in favor of this, President Trump has signaled optimism as it relates to it. It would be very surprised if House Republicans didn't get on board. Now, in terms of your second question as to what is in this bill and what is not in this bill, the most important thing it does is reopen the government. It funds all government programs and agencies through the end of January. Three agencies, including military construction and agriculture, Department of Agriculture, will be funded through the full fiscal year, which would go into September. It would also fully fund the SNAP program through the end of September. And it would also claw back some of those job cuts that were handed down by the administration at the beginning of the shutdown, which was a response to the shutdown. It would guarantee those folks who lost their jobs at the beginning of the shutdown would get their jobs back. And also every federal worker who has lost out on pay over this 41-day, what could end up being a 45 or 46-day shutdown, will get all of that back pay as a result of it. What it does not include, though, is any language related to health care at all, which was the big sticking point for Democrats. They wanted there to be some sort of
regardless to what a lot of people saying out of their mouth, the booze has it, man. The booze has it. I can't argue with that. The booze has it. Let me ask y'all this. Is those all Democrats out there booing? Are those all the Democrats? Let me know. Undeniable, baby. Undeniable. Sheesh. Take a lot of people to make that happen.
Good evening. I'm Jessica Layton in New York. There is breaking news tonight on the law.
Let's go. Okay, we're going to go to that little operation. Let's hear from these guys, these Democrats.
Senator from Vermont.
I understand that the way the process has been developed, it is impossible to delay the votes that are going to take place. And if that were not the case, that is certainly what I would do, because I think it is important that the American people fully understand what is being voted on today.
Listen up.
Everybody in America knows that our current healthcare system is broken. It is dysfunctional. It is cruel. It is by far the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and the only healthcare system of any major country that does not guarantee healthcare to all people as a human right, covering every man, woman, and child. We are unique in that respect. And yet tonight, what this Senate is about to do is make a horrific situation even worse. So let's be clear what this vote is about. If this vote succeeds, over 20 million Americans are going to see at least a doubling in their premiums in the Affordable Care Act. In my state of Vermont and throughout this country, for certain groups of people, it will be a tripling and a quadrupling of their premiums. There are people who will now be paying 50% of their limited incomes for health care. Does anybody in the world think that makes sense? And if this resolution is passed tonight, we are on a pathway to throw 15 million Americans off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. 15 million. Our job is to create universal health care. Guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child, not throw 50.
I would love universal health care. You know, like they pay for it. Every American citizen would have it. And so he don't agree with the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. He's talking about universal.
15 million people off the health care they have, low income and working class people. And my friends, know what you are voting on. Studies are out there that when you throw 15 million people off of health care, some 50,000 of our fellow Americans will die unnecessarily.
Do y'all think that that's only Democrats that will perish because of no health care and no, can't pay for your medicine that you need, surgeries and all of that kind of stuff? Let them keep going.
Every single year. Anyone think that's funny? Something to laugh at? Something to just go past? I don't. 50,000 Americans die unnecessarily. Now, I know as part of this resolution that the majority leader is going to say, well, Democrats can put together their own bill, and it'll come to the floor here in the Senate for a vote. As everybody here knows, that is a totally meaningless gesture. You can get 100 votes here in the Senate. Won't mean anything because the House is not going to take it up, and the President of the United States certainly will not sign it. So, Mr. President, I hope that anybody here who is thinking of voting for this reconsiders, goes back home and talks to their constituents and asks them what it will mean
Everyone,
if their health care premiums are doubled or tripled. Thank you, Mr. President.
Democratic leader.
Mr. President, America is in the midst of a Republican-made healthcare crisis, worse than anything the American people have seen in decades. Republicans have spent the past 10 months dismantling the healthcare system, skyrocketing costs, and making every day.
Wait, let me see what he said. Or Alan said, why should a healthy person who does the right things pay for someone whose weight way over 100, weighs over 100, over and dying from their own? Well, some people are just sick because they were born into it. Genetics is nothing that they did on their own. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that it's hard to really lock down on any of them. But only thing I can say is every person will be affected because you will know someone close to you that you love that is not as healthy, don't have as much money, didn't come with a silver spoon in their mouth. And it will hit everybody's doorstep, I promise. It will. I mean, there's no way that it won't. Even if it's somebody robbing you. You see what I'm saying? Because a hungry person gonna eat. And we always supposed to feed the poor. They always gonna be among us. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be crazy. I see it. Crime is gonna be up. Deaths are gonna be up, and bullets are up right now. I heard.
Harder for American families because of Republicans.
And some people, depending on who you are, you might not even be able to go somewhere and buy it because they might say they don't want to sell it to you. That's how bad it is.
Americans are going to suffer immensely as this healthcare crisis gets worse. Democrats have been fighting to end this crisis over and over again. Democrats have wanted to lower costs, but Republicans fought us every step of the way. We gave Republicans not one, not two, but 3 chances this year to extend the ACA premium tax credits. Republicans said no every time. On Friday, we offered Republicans a compromise, a proposal that would extend the ACA tax credits for a year and open up the government at the same time. They once again said no.
See, so that's the one I was talking about. There is no negotiations. It's only agreeing with what they want to do, and that's it. So we'll see how this all play out.
And when they said no on our compromise, they showed that they are against any health care reform. Instead, they passed the biggest health care cuts in our nation's history just to give tax breaks to billionaires. And even then, they weren't satisfied with merely closing hospitals and community health clinics.
So anybody that think that any negotiations are going to come now because the Democrats went ahead and voted and, like they said, open up the government or whatever, it ain't gonna change anything. And people, yeah. So right here it says, what's next? Senators need to agree on how long to debate before voting on the final bill. This could move quickly or be held up by senators who want to drag it out. Who want to drag out the process. So the House will have to return and adopt the deal struck in the Senate before it is sent to President Trump's desk to be signed. Whatever was in that big, beautiful bill, that's what they want, and that's what they're going with.
They callously did nothing to deal with the looming crisis of ACA credits. Premiums will spike by thousands of dollars a month. Millions will lose insurance. Democrats have sounded the alarm. We have demanded for months to meet with the Republican leadership. But Republican leaders refuse to even discuss the issue, let alone negotiate it. We've asked them to meet in the summer and throughout the shutdown. To this day, Republicans still say no. We asked President Trump to step in and meet with us to deliver lower health care for Americans, and instead, Donald Trump has taken the American people hostage, from cutting off food aid to hungry families and vets and seniors and kids, to manufacturing flight cancellations, to cutting off home heating aid, while he builds a billion-dollar ballroom with gold-plated toilets. Therefore, I must vote no. This healthcare crisis is so severe, so urgent, so devastating for families back home that I cannot in good faith support this CR that fails to address the healthcare crisis. But let me be clear, however this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because of millions of families will lose healthcare coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer will not get healthcare coverage. We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just.
So are y'all listening at that? A kid won't be able to get treatment. So for the person that says something about, being overweight and you know what I'm saying? It's people that's just born into illness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's innocent children that has cancer that need treatment that won't be treated. That's devastating. Did you think of that one?
For health insurance, we must fight to keep millions from financial ruin.
That's a lot of
And
money.
make no mistake about it, the American people, and make no mistake about it, we must fight to keep millions. Fight, because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin. And make no mistake about it, the American people know who is inflicting this healthcare trauma on them: Donald Trump and the Republicans. Americans will remember Republican intransigence every time they make a sky-high payment on health insurance. So we are going to fight legislatively, fight back home, fight in the courts, and bring this fight in the elections. Healthcare costs made a major impact on the 2025 election, and they will certainly have an even greater impact on the 2026 election. So in conclusion, the contrast between the two parties is crystal clear. Republicans are the party hell-bent on taking people's health care away, all to bow to the billionaire elite and special interests. Democrats are united as the party of lower health care costs and improving our health care system. We will not give up this fight. We will deliver for the American people.
All righty. And so the votes voted, right? And so we got ongoing impacts that says an appeals court rejected the Trump administration's efforts to block fully paying food stamp benefits in November. So they was trying to block it. So they got rejected to block fully paying the benefits in November, but many recipients are still in limbo. Meanwhile, more staffing issues are being reported at airports after the worst weekend for air traffic control staffing since the start of the shutdown. And that's what I was also talking about, where they were talking about 6-hour waits, layovers or whatever at the airport, or not even layover. That people was standing in line because of the lack of people that's working, because they not getting paid. But I heard they will get paid and they will get back pay and all that. But I mean, people got bills gonna bill, okay? Who putting the hold on the bills? Like, they shut down the government. Can they shut down the light and gas company? Can they shut down all of that? No, absolutely not. Oh, thank you, Riaz, for sharing me out. Yeah, we need to cut fraud and people that can afford to pay with their own money. Yeah, I agree with the fraud and all of that stuff. I mean, speaking of fraud, let's go to some fraud stuff I ran up on with people playing with the food stamps, and it ain't people that you necessarily think it would be. Let's see here.
An undercover operation in Manatee County lands 39 people in jail, and right now dozens more have warrants out for their arrest. The sheriff's office is going after those fraudulently using their EBT cards. Our Alex Hobson joins us live from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office tonight. And Alex, the sheriff says that this is a widespread problem.
And this sheriff's office is one of the only agencies addressing it, but we're talking major fraud, and they're using our taxpayer dollars.
Walked in one by one, some hung their heads, others wore their feelings right there on their T-shirts. Today, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office announced an undercover operation they've been working on for months, resulted in more than 100 arrest warrants.
Man, she peeling up out that dang on vehicle. What was I about to say? Let me keep going. I forgot what I was about to say. Watching
Close
her
to
get out
40
the dang car.
arrests.
This is a huge problem, and we're like one of maybe 3 or 4 law enforcement agencies in the state of Florida that have decided to do something about this.
And it has to do with just that. Meal tickets in the form of EBT cards for low-income individuals being fraudulently used. One part of the investigation centered around Gerald Millis, a local restaurant owner who police say purchased EBT cards from
a local what that did what? Gerald Millis. I mean, he got a local grocery store or whatever, restaurant or whatever, and this is what he's doing.
people for 50 to 60 cents on the dollar. 60 cents on the dollar cards from people. Gerald Millis, a local restaurant owner who part of the investigation centered around Gerald Millis, a local restaurant owner who police say purchased EBT cards from people for 50 to 60 cents on the dollar and then stocked his local Pizza Pros restaurant with food he bought using those cards.
Shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. Snatching the sandwich out of a child's hand before they bite it. Taking their ice cream before they lick it. And he owned restaurants.
Able to
Talk about fraud.
determine that he used 53 different EBT cards at Sam's Club.
Police
53. What? Do y'all see the faces on these things? Operation Meal Ticket. Oh, baby. These are the people that mess it up for the poor people that actually need it. You know what I'm saying? This is absolutely ridiculous. You want to talk about some fraud?
say 55 people were also caught illegally selling their EBT cards to undercover detectives.
Look at this. What is really going on? Operation Meal Ticket?
A couple of them said, I'm headed to go get some rock cocaine.
A beyond frustrating reality for taxpayers who today learned their hard-earned money is being misused.
All these people look able-bodied to me. I'm just saying.
It's your taxpayers' money and my taxpayers'
What are we doing here?
money that facilitates these EBT cards.
It's terrible. It's you should buy it for what you need, for staples to keep you alive. It's not meant for frilly things.
Speaking of EBT cards, why did I hear that somebody? Well, I think it was JB Pritzker and something about they were trying to figure out how to put money on the EBT cards or help people in their area or whatnot. And come to find out, they said they disabled the snap machine so they would not be able to use it even if they did get funded or something. Did y'all hear about that? But we got business owners taking 53 damn stolen. This is just outrage. And they worried about the people in the grocery store. Man, what? Worry about these people.
Manatee County Sheriff Brad Stubbe is now trying to address.
They worried about the people that actually got babies to feed.
The bigger issue, he's in talks with the state CFO and Congressman Buchanan with the idea of potentially putting a picture on these EBT cards to make it difficult for someone to use someone else's.
And they
reporting live.
They ain't did that yet. This is
From Manatee County tonight, Alex.
They ain't did that yet. Put a picture on it. But even if they would, like, how do that picture work when you shopping online? How does that work? Yeah. Let's see this one. A lot of people got caught up in this Operation Meal Ticket too. What are we doing here, guys? People that are on EBT eat better than today's white people. Jail sucks. He came to jail in the gear already. He knew where he was going.
You can get that off the sheriff's office operation. Well, my lord, I don't need that camera on my face, is what I'm saying.
What attitudes? They should have let this dude get dressed. God, now we got to see all this. A lot of Millie tickets here. What are we doing, guys? Wait, why is this not getting? What is going on here? Something is not right. I'm not trying to show this crap on the side.
It's not, but I don't know why we're on camera. What was on camera?
Hell. See what I'm saying? That thing was not there before. I promise you. Don't put your head down now, little guy. Hold him up. Chin up, buddy.
I'll take him in. Come on, bub.
Come on, bub.
I got the property. I'll get it out in a second.
What's going on, man? What the hell? Where are these people at today? What the hell? It's a lot of people crawling up out of there. I don't see no babies, no mamas. What? These people ain't taking care of nobody's kids. These the real damn thieves. Why y'all worrying about the people at the grocery store? There's people with businesses using the EBT.
You enjoy doing that. You gotta make sure it gets a close up of our pimples, you know.
Wait, what? Can everybody tell their story and why you're here?
I don't know nothing about that shit, bro.
I don't know nothing about it, bro.
You guys are all crammed in there.
Old dreadhead up in there.
Yeah.
What an outrage. And that's where he is. He wore the right shirt that day, didn't he? Look at his mess. What? Wait a dang on minute. That is ridiculous, y'all. What do y'all think about that? Here goes some black folks here.
Frio. Huh? Frio did. Frio. Yeah.
I wish they would let these people tell their story, okay?
Your host cam? You gotta do a restraint board?
I'll do one in here.
What's your ID number? 10,000.
And a lot of times we sold the cards for drugs. And each count of using this card is a felony. So.
God. They'll be coming right out with him.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. This was Manatee County, and 45 people were arrested Tuesday in Manatee County in Operation Meal Ticket. It was a sting by the sheriff office to catch people fraudulently using the food stamp cards. Now, this is old, y'all. This is just some old stuff that I found, right? Because this, the whole food stamp thing has been an issue from the beginning of time, right? Now, this operation actually happened in 2012. So a 4-month operation, a Manatee County Sheriff's Office undercover agent disguised as a homeless person offered various people in the community. Oh, so they set these people up. So they sent boy, listen. Okay, so anyway, they sent in an agent as a homeless person, offered various people in the community the opportunity to buy a $300 food stamp debit card, also known as an electronic benefit transfer card for cash or drugs. Manatee Sheriff Brad announced at the press conference. How much was they have? How much did they have to pay for this 300 food stamp card? And have any of y'all ever got caught up? You know what I'm saying? Buying half off food stamps for your benefit. So the officer of the inspector general of the U.S. Agriculture supplied the cards and correct PIN code as part of the sting in order to see how widespread the use of the cards for the fraud might be. Oh my God, a special agent. That's terrible how they got caught up. Using a food stamp debit card that is not yours bring a charge of social welfare fraud, in most cases a third-degree felony. Well, now you can order groceries online and the person can just ship them to your house. You know what I'm saying? They can use their own card and ship it to you. I mean, anyway, but anyway, I'm just saying these are some of the tactics that people use. So using a food stamp debit card that is not yours bring a charge of social welfare fraud and in most cases a third-degree felony. All 45 were charged with either social welfare fraud or drug possession, said the sheriff. So of the 45 arrests, 25 faced drug charges and allegedly offering powder and rock, Mary Jane scripts and exchange for the card. Boy, listen, see, they be doing studies on the poor to see what they gonna do. And that's what this was. I didn't know what was going on. So the remaining 21 were owners of hold on now. The remaining 21 were owners of small grocery stores, their managers, or a widespread of people from general public. So the way that it would work with the business people is that once it was known that our person had a card available, he quickly found out the going rate was $150 cash for a $300 card. That's a steal. So they said they were able to follow the card, and some of the store owners used the card to stock up on goods at bulk stores, which they would bring back to their stores and sell, sometimes raising the price. They were making a nice profit off of the card. Yeah, they doing that. They absolutely are doing that. So that is what we were looking at right here. And I just wanted to talk about that. I didn't know what the heck was going on. Let's hear a little bit more. Anybody could get caught up, man. Don't be buying no food stamp cards out there, y'all, because this might happen. And because it's wrong. It is. It's wrong. Dang. That's a different way to wear handcuffs.
You been arrested.
We have Gustavo Morales in custody. Elizabeth.
Dang. I don't think it's fair for them to set up people like this. I don't think they should do this. Do y'all know anybody that ever bought some yamps off of somebody? This could have been anybody. This could have been anybody. Can't starve disabled seniors, veterans because of the 10% fraud. Man, listen. So that's bad. That is bad. So they was just buying a random card off of somebody. Is that what they was doing?
That's him, right? Make sure it's not a junior. What's your date of birth?
Yeah, ID.
What's your birthday? Your birthday.
6/10/69.
Okay. You run Bertha's Taco Stand, right?
That's it.
Okay. That's him.
Wait, sit down, sir. Wait, sit down. Wait, sit down.
If this was today, he would be getting deported. They was going to taco stands messing with these guys and stuff. What in the world, man? What is the world coming to? Let's keep seeing, looking. Let's see what he gonna say. Wait, I got a few more minutes. I ain't got all day for this.
Okay, go ahead and sit down, and then they'll explain it to you, brother. Okay, go ahead and get in the car.
How you doing? You speak good English?
No,
I was just thinking.
Basically,
Go ahead,
Don't
explain
speak
to her
English.
he's under arrest
sit down.
for fraud
Then they'll explain it to
of
us.
the United States government. Basically,
God.
welfare fraud and buying EBT books.
EBT books. Good Lord. Didn't none of them need no food. Let me get off of this thing. Let me get out of here. So anyway, y'all, let's see what Bernie talking about. We might have heard it already.
Senator from Vermont.
I understand that the way the process has been developed, it is impossible to delay the votes that are going to take place. And if that were not the case, that is certainly what I would do, because I think it is important that the American people fully understand what is being voted on today. Everybody in America knows that our current healthcare system is broken. It is dysfunctional. It is cruel. It is by far the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and the only healthcare system of any major country that does not guarantee healthcare to all people as a human right, covering every man, woman, and child. We are unique in that respect. And yet tonight, what this Senate is about to do is make a horrific situation even worse. So let's be clear what this vote is about. If this vote succeeds, over 20 million Americans are going to see at least a doubling in their premiums in the Affordable Care Act.
Let me know at open enrollment is not now. Let me know if y'all prices go up, at open enrollment. Let's see what Gavin had to say. 23 hours ago, he said JD Vance and Donald Trump are doing plain politics with food assistance for the poor. Isn't just wrong. It is antithesis. I'm sure I'm saying this wrong, of what Jesus preached. Yeah, you're supposed to feed the poor. Let's see.
Using, because this is what it's about. Think about the state of mind of the vice president. How do they honestly, how do you square the circle when you go to a prayer breakfast? How do you square the circle? I mean, Old Testament, New Testament. Well, what's the fundamental thing that connects from John to Matthew to Proverbs? It's this notion of hunger, feeding the poor, the sick, the tired. It's not an option, it's central to advancing God's will. I mean, the fundamental point that we'd be using, because this is what it's about, and the federal government said it in the lawsuit, that they want to use it as a bargaining chip to end this shutdown. That's shameful. It's never happened in U.S. history.
Fraud is fraud.
The governors, the 23 AGs that stepped up and sued, and we've won those lawsuits. Now we need to win the heart and mind of the President of the United States, not just the Vice President of the United States, to do the right damn thing. Think about it.
Do the right damn thing.
You can't have 10% of people owning 2/3 of the wealth in this country. You can't have that 30-year-old that's doing worse than his parents' generation for the first time in U.S. history. And so those are fundamental issues that were obviously present in this election on Tuesday. And Donald Trump got it for a moment and now is defensively suggesting he's solved it. Ask the folks on Amazon paying 12% more. Ask the folks at Target paying 5.5% more, or at Walmart 5.3% more. Ask you and me that went down and get coffee today 18.9% more than a year ago. Look at the cost of a pound of beef. Donald Trump said he would make us wealthier and healthier. We're poorer and sicker. And I don't want to see that sickness extend to ending our republic and our democracy and know it, particularly in the 250th anniversary of our fathers.
I think it was very interesting that somebody, like, why they're talking about health and all of this stuff, and somebody right there just passed out right there at the time that they were talking. I just thought that was very, very odd. We gonna go ahead and wrap it on up. I might go on the other channel because I do have that set to go as well. But we'll see who pop up over there because y'all don't know how to hit the thumbs up over here. Y'all don't know how to hit the thumbs up for your girl. Now, let me wait. It was something else I wanted to do. Oh, see where we at right quick in closing. Let Bernie keep talking while I look for what I'm looking for, because this is where we at.
My state of Vermont and throughout this country, for certain groups of people, it will be a tripling and a quadrupling of their premiums. There are people who will now be paying 50% of their limited incomes for health care. Does anybody in the world think that makes sense? And if this resolution is passed tonight, we are on a pathway to throw 15 million Americans off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. 15 million.
15 million is thrown off because it just got voted.
Our job is to create universal health care, guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child, not throw 15 million people off the health care they have, low income and working class people. And my friends, know what you are voting on. Studies are out there that when you throw 15 million people off of health care, some 50,000 of our fellow Americans will die unnecessarily every single year. Anyone think that's funny? Something to laugh at? Something to just go past? I don't. 50,000 Americans die unnecessarily. Now, I know as part of this resolution that the majority leader is going to say, well, Democrats can put together their own bill, and it'll come to the floor here in the Senate for a vote. As everybody here knows, that is a totally meaningless gesture. You can get 100 votes here in the Senate. Won't mean anything because the House is not going to take it up, and the President of the United States certainly will not sign it. So, Mr. President, I hope that anybody here who is thinking of voting for this reconsiders, goes back home and talks to their constituents and asks them what it will mean.
Well, that's what it would mean. That's what the guy is telling us. And we just got to watch and see what happens. See who's right. These are the people that voted. These are the 8 people. And this guy, I think it was this guy here. He just got in 24 hours ago, and he was a part of that. And then there was another lady, they was waiting to vote her in or whatever for the government to come down, and she had her votes will count for Epstein or something, but I'll talk about that in the next one. But anyway, thank you to everybody that hit the thumbs up. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in. Y'all, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. For Real with Mike, welcome in. Thank you for dropping down and speaking. Thank you to everybody that stopped in, and I appreciate y'all. But I'm gonna get on, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and love, y'all. We out.